Well, I'm the commander of this motley crew. Hey, really, I am very happy with all you veterans wanting you to stay, everybody. It's Veterans Day, and I gotta hurry. I gotta have Bob Callahan, who is quite the yap out here. He's gonna come up and finish this off. So I hope you have a great time today. And come on, Bob. You can go home. This is my adjective, by the way.
Good afternoon, I guess. Well, almost afternoon. Good morning. Thank you all for coming. Once again, we're going to celebrate Veterans Day here at the Scituate Senior Center. I want to thank the staff of the Senior Center and everybody involved that's doing the helping today and serving the meals. I want to especially give a good thanks to the Voyage Restaurant down in Hummerock. Keith O'Callahan is the owner, and he's volunteering in the kitchen, and he's providing the food that we're going to eat. So again, thanks to the Voyage, thanks to Shelley, our bartender, thanks to Tom, the cook, and I believe Keith's wife is here also. So, and afterwards we're going to have a little music, but I won't belabor it. I was wondering, is there a young man in here by the name of Patrick Murphy? No. Patrick was going to come and recite a poem he wrote for Scituate High School that was I guess he won second place in it. It was a poem about veterans. But maybe, well, maybe he isn't here yet, but. Huh? Yeah. Okay, so once again, just as a quick recap, we have 24 Army people here. Huh? Oh, okay. We have 24 Army people, veterans here today. We have 14 Navy. Usually, last year, the Navy outnumbered everybody. But, I guess they're still out to sea. We had 8 Marines.
Hoorah!
Yeah.
Happy birthday, too, boy.
We have 3 Air Force veterans, 3 Coast Guard veterans. So, I also want to mention that we have people on the list here that should be here that served in World War II, in Korea, Vietnam, and some of the more recent issues that have taken place around the world. So I'll bid you adieu, and I'll turn it over to, let's see, who's next on the list? Our own favorite, Maura Curran, from the Select Board in Scituate.
Thank you, Bob. I'm honored to be your old favorite. It's all right, I'm Irish, we all have good senses of humor. So welcome, my name is Maura Curran. I'm one of your Select Board members. Karen Connolly is also here joining me today. On behalf of the Select Board, I want to welcome you all to this Veterans Celebration. And I just want to start, first of all, just by thanking all who contributed to this wonderful event. It just grows every year and gets so much more exciting and more festive because you all truly deserve that celebration. So thank you to the Scituate Legion, Post 144, our Scituate Veterans Advisory Council, our Veterans Office, and also the senior staff here and all the volunteers who make this happen. Also want to do a shout out for the Voyage and also the Scituate Food Pantry. This town exists and survives and succeeds through all the different volunteers that are so passionate for a lot of different initiatives, but specifically they always come out to thank and honor the veterans in Scituate. And I just wanted to share a little story. I like to try to make it a little bit personal as well, because Veterans Day is important to me as well. So last weekend I was in Newport. Many of you know Newport's rich naval history. Here we go, Navy, with the Naval War College still there. And while I was there visiting in a restaurant, I witnessed a very young, 20-something young man take the moment to step away from his friends and walk over to an older gentleman who had one of those lovely military caps on, and just walked up to him and said, "Thank you. Thank you, sir, for your service." And it just really touched my heart that he had the wherewithal at his age to still walk up and to thank the generations before us for serving and protecting our country. And what struck me was, it wasn't Memorial Day and it wasn't Veterans Day, but he knew how important it was just to take a moment to say thank you. And I've had many military veterans around me in my whole life, beginning with my father, Sam Cashman, who was a Navy pilot at the close of World War II, my uncles, who served in the Army, the Coast Guard, and then marrying into the Curran family from Cohasset, where Ed Curran, my late father-in-law, was a Marine. His 3 sons followed, entering the Army, and then lastly, one of his sons is also a Marine. And with the exception of my 3 brother-in-laws who were at the Persian Gulf War at the same time, there wasn't a single common experience among any of them, all in different branches and all in different wars. But they all held the same commitment to serve their country, to protect the values that we in America hold dear: the freedom to speak, the freedom to assemble, the freedom to worship, freedom of press, and also the freedom to question our very own government for who we serve. And next week, the tradition in my family will carry on as my 25-year-old nephew, Karen Curran, who's a 2nd lieutenant in the Army, will leave for his first deployment to South Korea. As a field artillery officer, he'll be leaving for the DMZ zone, or the DMZ in South Korea. And I'm nervous for him, but so very impressed with his courage, and he's so excited about this journey. And I just want to wish Godspeed to Connor and his comrades who continue to fight on behalf of America and what we all stand for. So I just want to end and say thank you to all of you. Those of you who sit here before me, who served in the past, those of you who are active, reserves, and among the 2 million in our country who continue to actively serve. And a very thank you to the youth, like Connor and that young man in Newport, who continue to recognize that serving our country is an honor, just like all of you recognized years ago and still continue today. So thank you so much for your service. We cherish you all, and really enjoy your day today, because it's a great meal and a lot of great entertainment. So enjoy. Thank you.
You want to read that for the young man? Okay.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome. You look great. My name's Bob Murphy, and I am the newest chaplain of Post 144. Thank you very much. But before I do this whole thing, I would really like to, I think probably you all know her, but I would like to, would you stand? Can you? I'd like to hear you all applaud this lady. She's a magnificent woman. She's a Marine, and she's my mentor. But I'm glad she's here. She deserves a lot. Hoorah! So, silliness. I received a card. Anybody received a card in the mail for, this came from the Susan Pippin House and Kim Stewart. Anybody? Yeah. Did you read it? Yeah. Pretty amazing, huh? Do you mind if I read it? It's a little long in the tooth. Because I know you. I'll just read the last line. No. This is called We the People. We the people are diverse, different, and distinguishable. We the people differ from one another, which protects the beauty in our communities. Our pasts are assorted, our communities are contrasting, our futures are unalike. We the people are not identical. Though despite the contrast, we the people share a common freedom. This privilege was given to us, the privilege was given to us like a gift at birth. We grow up not knowing anything different and didn't know who to thank for this right, though the person who is the giver of this liberty is hidden deep within our communities, living like you and me. These hidden warriors and heroes know they don't wear a cape or they don't fly about in a suit of armor, but like a superhero, these heroes fought for the people. They fought for and shared similar lives between us, which despite our distractions brought us together. We the people need to show our gratitude towards the heroes in our communities and be thankful for the gift they gave the people at birth. We the people need to be thankful for the privilege. We the people need to be thankful for freedom. By August Ames, grade 7.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Marie Murray, and I'm director next door at the Scituate Food Pantry. And I wanted to just quickly, before you start your beautiful meal, give you our welcome to today's festivities too. We're hosting, this is our 3rd annual Salute to Service, and we treasure our veterans in this town, and we're so happy to see all of you here today. It'll be our privilege to host you in the room next door for wonderful dessert and cider and some wonderful music and some dancing, we hope. Last year we had dancing and it was great. So I want to welcome you. Happy Veterans Day. We salute you today. My little personal story is I wear my scarf today, which are the poppies from Flanders Field. And my cousin brought this home for me from Normandy. Because she knew what we did on Veterans Day in our town. So I wear this proudly in salute of all of you, and we can't wait to meet you and celebrate this afternoon and spend some time with our heroes from our town. So please join us. We're starting at 1 o'clock or whenever you're finished with your lovely luncheon. So come see us. We're right next door. Happy Veterans Day.
Ceremony and red door to the MIA.
Thank you, Commander. Please uncover. This is a POW MIA Remembrance Service. Those who have served and those who are currently serving in the uniformed services of the United States are ever mindful that the sweetness of enduring peace has always been tainted by the bitterness of personal sacrifice. We are compelled to never forget that while we enjoy our daily pleasures, there are others who have endured and may still be enduring the agonies of pain, deprivation, and imprisonment. Before we begin our festivities, we pause to recognize our POWs, the prisoners of war, and our MIAs, the missing in actions. we call your attention to this table. It occupies a place of dignity and honor. It is set for one, symbolizing the fact that there are members of our armed forces who are missing from our ranks. They are referred to as POWs and MIAs. We call them our comrades. They are unable to be with their loved ones and families. We join to pay humble tribute to them and bear witness to their continued absence. The table is small, symbolizing the frailty of one prisoner, alone against his or her suppressors. The tablecloth is white, symbolic of the purity of their intentions when they responded to their country's call to arms. The single rose signifies the blood they may have shed in their sacrifice to ensure the freedom of our beloved United States of America. This rose also reminds us of the family and friends of our missing comrades who keep faith while waiting their return. The red ribbon on the vase represents an unyielding determination for a proper accounting of our comrades who have not been with us for a long time. A slice of lemon reminds us of their bitter fate. The glass is inverted, meaning they cannot toast with us at this time. The chair is empty because they are not here. The lighted candle reminds us of the light of hope which lives in our hearts to illuminate their way home, away from their captors, and into the open arms of a grateful nation. The American flag reminds us that many of them may never return and have paid the supreme sacrifice to ensure our freedom. Let us pray to the Supreme Commander that all of our comrades will soon be back and within our ranks. Let us remember and never forget their sacrifice. May God forever watch over them, protect them and their families. May God bless the POWs and the MIAs. And despite the fact that there's supposed to be another person here with the same name as mine but spelled a different way, I'm going to take his place. The official name for Flanders Field, where this poem was penned, is the American Cemetery at Weergem or Weergem in Belgium. Flanders Fields was written by Canadian physician and Lieutenant Colonel John McCree and published in December 8, 1915. Perhaps you can remember veterans selling red poppies at the supermarket or at the dump. The red poppy is a symbol for the remembrance of the First World War and a hope for a peaceful future. This is the poem, In Flanders Fields, by Lieutenant Colonel John McCree. In Flanders Fields, the poppies blow between the crosses, row on row, that mark our place. And in the sky, the larks, still bravely singing, fly scarcely heard among the guns below. We are the dead. Since scarcely days ago, we lived, we felt dawn, saw sunset glow, loved and were loved, and now we lie in Flanders Fields. Take up our quarrel with the foe. To you, from the falling hands, we throw the torch. Be yours to hold it high. If ye break faith with us who die, we shall not sleep, though the poppies grow in Flanders Field. Thank you.
was that young man's name?
Patrick?
Patrick?
Oh, David Murphy.
David Murphy. See, this is what happens when you get old. Oh, David, would you please come up here? There you are.
He had fallen forward and lay in the earth as though sleeping. His face had an expression of calm, as though almost glad the end had come. These were the final lines of Eric Maria Ray McQuaw's 1928 novel, All Quiet on the Western Front. The book details the life of a German soldier, Paul Baumer. A life that ends with a young yet brutalized soul falling in the mud and blood of the First World War. I had never read a story with such a bleak and haunting conclusion. It shook me to my very core. Yet now, after reading the novel once again, I can't help but reflect on those lines. And I can't help but find parallels between the life of that 20-year-old German soldier and our own troops. Although their banners flew different colors and rifles fired in opposing directions, the scarlet streaks of blood bled the same. Ever since the shot heard around the world, American veterans have been the backbone of our republic. At every test and every challenge within our nation's history, they have risen to the call of duty to defend our country no matter the cost. From the American Revolution to the Civil War, or World War II to the War on Terror, our veterans have valiantly served the nation without exception. Yet there is nothing glorious about being a common soldier. On the contrary, their lives in themselves are a war, filled with bitterness and challenges that very few can ever endure. Deployed hundreds, if not thousands of miles away from home, often overseas, they fight and toil in lands distant from their families for years on end. For those soldiers who do return home, they struggle to adjust to civilian life and fight to mend fragile relationships damaged by extensive periods of separation. Even now, tobacco and alcohol abuse is rampant within the Army, the slow cancer of addiction spreading into soldiers' brains, searching for an escape for the things they witnessed while deployed. But none of these woes apply to the hundreds of thousands of Americans who, throughout our history, faced the same fate as that German soldier. Americans who were bayoneted at Saratoga, gunned down at Gettysburg, caught in the barbed wire and artillery fire of Omaha Beach, were ambushed in the deserts and mountains of Iraq and Afghanistan. There was no veil of grandeur or splendor for these men, only the hail of bullets, an earthy taste of blood in their mouths. So why do they do it? Why do time and time again a new generation of Americans take up arms for their country to dive headfirst into the chaos and carnage of war? They do it so that we can be free. They do it so that we can be safe. They do it so that we can pursue our happiness in a nation where our rights come not from the benevolence of a ruler or dictator, or rather a constitution that grants us the liberty to carry on our lives unburdened by tyranny and persecution. They defend us not because of our ethnicity, religion, or political affiliation. They do it because we are Americans. There is a reason the vigor and valor of red fly side by side with the purity and innocence of white on our Star-Spangled Banner. My own grandfather served in our armed forces, an Irish immigrant arriving in New York City on December 10th, 1950, entering through Ellis Island like so many others. Dirt poor, alone in a new country on that frigid December day, only 16 years old, he didn't even have an appropriately sized shirt to his name. But I imagine that as he saw that bright torch of liberty and breathed in the cool December air, he could envision a world of possibilities, a blank canvas on which to paint a new life. To earn this opportunity, he entered the Army, eventually becoming a corporal before being honorably discharged. Throughout this time, he readily served the nation that had adopted him as one of its own, and stood keen to defend the ideals of the United States. That is why our veterans are important. They work, fight, and die so that we may be free. They make the sacrifices that others are unwilling to make. For us, they pay any price, bear any burden, meet any hardship, support any friend, and oppose any foe to ensure the survival and success of liberty. They are the buoy that keeps America tethered to its belief in freedom for all. I'll leave you all with a brief reminder. Today, November 11th, we celebrate Veterans Day, a day that marks the end of the First World War. I want to express my deep gratitude for all of you who have served in our armed forces, and remind you that we will never forget the sacrifices made of those who paid the ultimate price to protect our God-given natural rights. Those who, until their final moments, acted as a shield against the enemies of liberty, to defend rights that undoubtedly make this country the greatest nation on earth. Thank you.
I think I ought to make him commander.
Everybody hungry?
Bring it on.
Lord, we thank you for the meal that we're about to have. Life is, on this day anyway, a sad day and a glorious day. So, without any more said, take a moment, bow your head, and thank the Lord for what we have. Thank you, Lord. God be with us. Go in peace. Enjoy the meal.